My name is Jun, and I'm an international student from China. In Chinese, Jun stands for a king, an ambitious, brave, and independent man who has strong leadership skills. Now you may have begun to wonder why I was given such a masculine name. So according to some of my family and their friends, I kept moving around in my mom's tummy, which was painful for her. Therefore, everyone assumed that I will be a strong baby boy, especially my grandpa, who served in the army when he was young. My grandpa was a tough man, but also gentle and loved to spoil me. He was a man of integrity and gave me a name that reflected a little bit of him. He had already decided to give me the name June before I was born. Even though I was born as a girl, my grandpa decided to keep June as my name because regardless of gender, he hoped that I could be a strong, brave, ambitious, and independent person. The meaning of my name keep motivating me to move forward and step into the unknown to fulfill my grandpa's dream. Growing up in a conservative family with collectivist culture made it difficult to step into the unknown or to explore new things. For example, mastery in a new language, because you are not encouraged to stand out or to boast, but instead are encouraged to be a good member of your family, class, community, or even country. And your culture keep instilled to always following the rules. But I'm very grateful that my parents raised me in exact the same way, because at least I haven't committed any felonies in my 23-year life. My parents knew that I was brave, independent, and powerful. So when I told them I wanted to move to another country, to explore new things and pursue higher education, they were not surprised at all, but gave me a lot of support and unconditional love. With all the love and support, I moved to the US alone when I was 16. I still remember that everything was confusing in the first couple months after I came to the US. I could not tell the differences between American English and British English. So in McDonald's, I could not tell the difference between English and British English too. So I ended up getting a bag of chips from a kids meal, but I wanted French fries. On a random Saturday morning, I went to a Starbucks in the neighborhood, and there was a group of native speakers sit next to me, and I could barely understand their conversation. I panicked and started to worry about school and my future. In school, I spent a lot more time than other kids to finish reading an article or an assignment. I did not dare participate in class because I'm afraid that others might judge me because of my accent. Even I knew that sometimes the questions that the teachers ask in class, I dare not to raise my hand and then tell them my answer, because my culture instilled in me that I might be boasting if I raise my hand and say the answer. And I could not remember how many times I cried in my room at night. I did not let anyone know my struggles and worry about me. I put a brave face every day to conquer my fear and goals, even though I worry about my future and that I might probably quit high school. Every time I type my name at the top of the page of my essay, it reminded me of my grandpa's hopes for me, which motivated me to keep moving forward. I graduated high school with a high GPA, but I knew that there was more of the unknown that I need to explore and conquer. I set a goal to speak English confidently one day and made a commitment to shift to the US culture and participate without fear, even if the answer is not 100% right. After graduating high school, I went to East LA College to continue education. I was stereotyped as an Asian woman to major in mathematics or business, but I already know what I wanted for the rest of my life since I was a child. Many of my extended family work in law enforcement in China, combating violence and crimes, such as drug trafficking, homicide, and burglary. I was always inspired by their willingness to risk their life to prevent crimes and violence and to protect innocent people. So I declared my major in administration of justice. I was the only Asian in almost every administration of justice class. As a freshman, I was so nervous when it came to presentation. I would need to practice over and over again, much like I did today. In my sophomore year, I learned one of the widely used policing philosophies in one of my administration of justice class, which is problem-oriented policing, developed by Goldstein in 1979. SARA is the model of problem-oriented policing, developed by Eck and Spellman in 1987. So in SARA, the first S stands for scanning, which requires the law enforcement officer to identify a problem in a community or neighborhood. And the first A stands for analysis, which is to understand the cause of the problem and collect relevant information that might be helpful to cope with. R stands for response. An officer would use this information to address the problem. The last A stands for assessment, which is to evaluate the effectiveness of an officer's response. By following SARA, I scanned my problem, which was I could not speak English confidently. Second, I started to analyze my problem and realized that a lack of participation in academic clubs might be one of the reasons I could not speak English confidently. After that, I started to collect information and seek potential solutions. One day, I saw a flyer was posted on campus by accident. In response, I decided to join the Administration of Justice Club. And as expected, I was the only Asian in the Administration of Justice Club. On the club's annual election day, when the club director asked if there were any nominations for vice president, I hesitated, not only because I barely talked to any of my peers in the club, but also because I was worried about my accent, especially when I would need to speak in front of so many people. What's more, other candidates already had peer nomination. However, there was an idea floating in my mind. It is true that I don't know if I will be elected. But the only thing I know is that if I don't give myself a chance, I will certainly not be elected. I raised my hand and nominate myself. Immediately, the club director asked me to give a brief self-introduction and elaborate on the reasons why people should vote for me as the vice president. I panicked, not only because I did not expect it in front of so many people, but also because there wasn't enough time for me to prepare. However, when I saw my name on the board, brave, ambitious, independent, under the vice president candidate, it somehow gave me power, and I knew I had to go for it. I took a deep breath, pretended that I wasn't nervous enough. I wasn't nervous at all. Then started to introduce myself and try to convince my peers to vote for me. I had no idea what I was talking about in that 3-minute presentation because I was too nervous. Surprisingly, the majority of my peers voted for me, and I was elected to be the vice president of the Administration of Justice Club and the first Asian leader of the club since its establishment back in 1999. This gave me the courage and confidence to keep trying new things, like public speaking. Over time, I became more willing to ask professor questions and share my thoughts in class without worrying about my accent. Back to problem-oriented policing, the last stage of the SARA model. The last A stands for assessment. I figured that I can speak English a little bit more confident before I start following the SARA model. So it ended up working for me. Also, this taught me the more likely I try, the more likely I am to succeed. And I will continue to use Sarah to help me to confirm my other goals. Since then, I never stopped talking. I received my associate degree in Administration of Justice in East LA College and transferred to my dream university, California State University, Fullerton. I became a peer mentor as an undergraduate student, which I never thought about before. After I obtained my bachelor's degree, I continued to study criminology and criminal justice as a graduate student at California State University, Long Beach. Now I'm again the only Asian in my grad school cohort, a teaching assistant and peer mentor, but I hope I'm not the last. At this point, I know I am one step closer to make my dream come true. 7 months ago, when I saw the TEDxCSULB post on Instagram, I decided to apply immediately because I know that it is my turn to tell my story and inspire us. Now I can proudly tell my grandfather that, hey, thank you for giving me this name. Your little granddaughter is all grown up. As I can stand here today and tell everyone my story, I am ambitious, brave, and powerful as you hope. And I am fulfilling your legacy. To international students, new immigrants, and those who are struggling with the unknown, always remember your purpose and follow your heart, because you're the only person who can be in charge of your life, destiny. Don't be afraid if you feel like you are the only one in your industry or field. Come back to your passion, connect with your dreams and goals, and follow them to inspire you to achieve them. Why I was not born a king or a man, like the original meaning of my name, I'm still strong, ambitious, brave with leadership skills. If you do not know the meaning of your name, then I invited you to be your own June too. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. I appreciate your time. Thank you.